Welcome, Kletus Ray's Roadside Service. Here we are again, the next day. What is today? Thursday. And we're driving the same truck that broke down on me yesterday because I don't know, I guess they're starting to understand that, yeah, the truck, it works great for a long time until it doesn't. So I'm taking this truck, just got it, doesn't feel great. Something feels wobbly. Well, you never know. Maybe I'll need to get another tow. But hey, if I need another tow, I don't know what they'll do. They might bring the low boy out here and pick me up because I don't know. I'm thinking this Driveshaft. I don't know, man. So there's this guy they hired. I think I talked about him once. New mechanic, came from the military. I said I'm not going to judge him too soon, but yeah, I don't know. He's already got the. Everybody already knows that he's probably not going to last too long. They're starting to see it as, and I saw it as soon as I met him. I was like, "Who are you? Oh, you're a mechanic. Okay, it's not good, not good at all." But no, it took him over like an hour. What time is it? 8:12. I got there at 7. Took him an hour to put the drive shaft back in. The drive shaft's sitting right there, because when they towed the truck, they take the drive shaft out. They just take the little caps off the U-joint. They strap the drive shaft up with the ratchet strap, and whenever they dropped it off, we dropped it off inside of my shop. Oh, you guys don't even know I got towed, but yeah, I got towed. I got towed. They just dropped it inside of our shop and took the strap, and then they left us the parts, just like last time. And yeah, he's like, "How do I get to the drive shaft?" I was like, "You're gonna have to lay on the floor, bud." It's like, "Oh," he's like, "I didn't bring a jacket today." I'm like, "You're inside." He's like, "Yeah, but I don't want to get my shirt all dirty." I'm like, "Okay, well, don't know what to tell you, man. Go steal somebody's fucking work shirt off the rack over there, and just throw it in the dirty laundry whenever you're done. Nobody will ever know." Um, and he's like, "How should I get underneath the truck?" I was like, "Well, dude, I don't. You gotta lay on the ground, okay? I know it sucks. You're gonna have to lay on the ground and get underneath there." And then one of the other mechanics was like, "Hey, quit talking to him. He, because they already know. They're like, hey, he's gonna take for fucking ever. So just leave him alone." So I just walked off, moved some other truck around that was already fixed, needed to be taken to a different place, and got back, and he's still under there fucking with it. He put it in, so it's on now, but I don't know. I am feeling a vibration. This is my first time getting it up to speed. I don't know. I would think that I'd feel way more of a vibration if you put it in wrong. But hey, we were all standing there. They're like, "Did you get the drive shaft in?" He said, "Yep." They said, "Did you get it tight?" He said, "Yep." And I watched him put Loctite on the bolts, so let's hope. Let's hope I don't end up fucking completely stranded on a bridge over here. Let me just chug this coffee real quick so I have somewhere to spit. Delicious coffee. I added sugar and cream to it today. I said, I don't give a fuck. I'm adding what I want. But yeah, the mechanic, he came over and looked at it, and because he was talking about the fuel water separator with the fuel filter in there, and yesterday he's like, oh yeah, it's plumb full, that means it's clogged up. And then today, whenever it was at the shop and he was looking at it, he's like, yeah, it has no fuel problems. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, the fuel pressure's great, so it's not clogged up. And we were like, well, do you want to change the filter anyways? He's like, no, it doesn't have any fuel problems. And then my boss was like, I called him and I'm like, hey, do you want me to ask the mechanic to ride with me and I'll just drive that truck because I know it's going to drive just fine. But if he's got his computer laptop hooked up to it and he can actually drive with me, and if it does start fucking up, he's like, it's not going to fuck up. I'm like, well, I don't think it will either. He's like, no, because you put diesel treatment in it last night and it sat in the shop. I'm like, okay, well, yeah. He's like, so it was gelling up yesterday and now it's not gelling up. I'm like, all right, well, the gel doesn't revert back to fucking good diesel, okay? If it was gelling up enough to make the truck not run properly, that means that filter would be, slightly clogged up. It really should be all the way clogged up. But he's like, nope. I don't want to. I don't. Just take the truck over there. He's like, you're being a princess. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I'm like, motherfucker, dude. Why do I get in situations like if this happened to anybody else, the other person would be really upset. He'd be like, oh man, that fucking truck broke down. I can't believe it. I'm so fucking pissed. And the boss would be like, yeah, no, I'm sorry. We'll make sure we get it figured out. Won't happen again. Sorry we messed up your day. But when it happens to me, they're like, quit being a princess. It's fine. Just hammer down and drive it. Like, you fucking fuckheads. So here I am. I'm hammering down driving it. And I didn't have to lie, but I didn't really mention to the customer that the truck that I'm bringing is the same exact truck that I had last time. Because, they're probably kind of curious on what the fuck is going on. Also, they probably don't give a fuck. They probably aren't going to give too much of a shit because they just want their box back. Because what happened was there's two dumpsters in an area. One dumpster is for hazardous waste material, and the other dumpster is for trash. And somebody started dumping like globs of trash in this dumpster, in between the liner and the dumpster. So, and the place that was, I guess they were like, yeah, we'll try to remove the product from your container, but they couldn't get it. So there's globs of shit in here that's froze up. Well, it's not froze. I told him, he's like, yeah, we're going to have to work on cleaning it. I said, oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's been sitting in a heated shop under heat lamps all night. So if you guys want to clean it today, right when I get there, might be a good time to do it. He's like, nah, no. It is -6. Actually, I don't even know it. Well, my truck is saying 1, but my thing this morning was saying -6. But hey, my pickup truck's fired up. It did. It fired right up. Just kidding. It didn't fire right up. I had to sit there and fuck with it, but it did eventually fire up and let it sit there and warm up. And, oh, man, it's just... I wish the starter solenoid, I think that's what's going bad. And since this is a pre-Vortec, it doesn't have the good little starter on it. It's got the big starter. So I don't know if I'm going to just try to fuck with the solenoid and get the solenoid fixed up, or just replace the whole starter on my new pick, or my 92. I'll call it my new truck and my old truck, even though my new truck I've had it for longer than my old truck. It's a 92. Man, I was driving it last night in the dark, and I mean, I know where all the buttons are, but it was just kind of different whenever you get into a 92 and none of the buttons are lit up. They don't have any illumination to them. They're just, painted on plastic blocks. And I just had to fucking, I was like, man, I can't see any of the buttons at all. But, I mean, I was able to get it, but it's just kind of weird. And it's really cool, the 90s digital shit that they got on there is really fun to just watch. Because it's got like a little, whenever it goes from, top dash down to feet, and it just goes blip, 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 all the way down to the bottom, and it just looks so cool. I wish it made a noise, maybe not noise, but I really want to get the original radio working in that truck, because I've talked about it before. The aftermarket radio, where it's located, is right underneath the main vents of the truck, and that radio gets so fucking hot. Like, even with the radio off, it doesn't matter if it's on or off. It's in the path of the heater vents, and it just gets so fucking hot. And I'm like, I can't believe this is the way it is. So I'd like to get the original radio hooked back up. And what usually went there was like a tape deck. They had tape decks that went in that hole, or just like an equalizer, which was pretty cool for back in the day. But I just want to get the original radio hooked back up. I've got one. I need to get underneath there and figure out what plugs go where, and just get it plugged in and then power it up and see if it'll fucking work. But it's gonna take a little bit of time, because I gotta de-wire the aftermarket radio and figure out what wires went to what. Hopefully it's just a plug. I think it is. I think when the guy that wired it up when I bought it, it had an aftermarket radio in it, and I'm pretty sure it's just the original plug, unfucked with, just plugged into it. He actually bought the correct harness for the truck. And I don't know, I do like having Bluetooth, and I don't know, maybe I will look into figuring out how to do the Bluetooth, because I got the Bluetooth transmitter, and if I just set the Bluetooth transmitter to the right station, and tuck it up underneath the dash, just where it can't be seen at all, like, because I don't want to see it. And then all I got to do is tune my radio to 87.9 or whatever I put it at. Usually 87.9 is what works out the best. And just tuck it up underneath the dash and just have it hardwired, because that's all it needs. It doesn't need anything other than a power and ground. And yeah, I don't know. It seems kind of sketch to do that. Or I could add another cigarette lighter plug and then just plug it into that, and then hide that in the dash, in the glove box somewhere. And I'll have Bluetooth that way, so I'll just have to tune to the correct station. But I just wish there was a different way to do it. I honestly wish there was a plug I could plug in, so every time I get in the truck, I could just plug my phone in, and it'll kind of use the truck speakers as headphones or whatever. I don't know. But that probably wouldn't work out too well. Maybe. I don't know. The least technologically advanced way to do it would just be, I don't know if it's the least, but just grab that FM transmitter, plug it in there, call it good, just always leave it powered up. Because right now, the one I have, I need to replace it. I need to get a new one, probably, because that one, it's a little fucked up. It's a little fucky. Doesn't work all the time. And that's why I haven't been listening to music a lot lately. Is because I've been leaving that. Because usually I have the FM transmitter with me at all times, and I'll plug it into every truck, and I'll charge my phones off of it and everything, and it worked out really well for that. But it just started, like, it fell apart a few times because it just screws together, and I just kind of ditched it a while back. Um, yeah, I don't know. Man, this mechanic guy, he was like, he's just a silly guy. I know. I don't want to judge him too. I still don't even though other people have judged him already, and they're like, nope, we know exactly how he is. You need to leave him alone. Give him one task, and it's got to be a really simple task, like putting a drive shaft back in. But he's still going to take an hour doing that. But at least for that hour, while he's gone doing that, he's not talking to them. Because he gets all, it's like he's been locked in a cage or something. Because he just wants to talk and talk and talk and talk. And I mean, I got the same problem. Look at me, I sit here and talk to myself for like an hour every day. But I'm like, man, I could put that drive shaft in way faster. I should have just laid down and fucking did it. Almost got hit here the other day. And fucking guy came flying. He straight up ran a stop sign that it's like kind of a converging. I'm getting off the highway and I have a yield sign, and then he's got a stop sign that he's supposed to stop at, but he just runs. If there's nobody sitting at any of the other stop signs sitting there, then you can just fly through it and nobody really gives a fuck. And he flew through it and he was like on my ass. It was like a Ford Fusion. And he was like on my ass. I'm like, what? You ran the stop sign, bitch! Like, get the fuck away from me. Um, yeah, I don't know. The guy towing me last night, he was pretty cool. He was there. He helped get the truck rigged up last time, but he ended up leaving. And I rode with a different guy, so it's kind of nice to ride with him. Because the other guy, um, he was like, yeah, I used to repo cars, and I kept trying to get like a crazy story out of him. And he's like, oh, this one guy raised his voice at me once. And I'm like, that's not all that interesting, man. So this guy showed up, and I was like, do you have any crazy stories? And yeah, he had a lot of crazy stories. Even though he grew up in like the 70s and 80s, um, we had a lot in common because he's like, oh yeah, go out, having fun, hooning around with my buddies and our old mud trucks and cars and this and that. But he's got like 7 or 8 square bodies at his house. I'm like, Dad, I'm glad to be riding around with you. Guy with a square body, knows what the fuck he's doing. And or a guy with any old truck knows what he's doing, but a guy with a square body, like, that's my favorite truck. So, shoo yeah. Um, we sucked each other off, by the way. It was a great time. 69 down the highway. Just kidding. I'm fucking around. This guy, he didn't fly out of a windshield, but he crashed a 76 F-250 or F-200 or whatever the fuck they were back then. He crashed one of those and about went through the windshield and it smashed the whole thing. And I was like, oh man, I flew through a Camaro window. So we had that in common, riding dirt bikes and four-wheelers and stuff, and just going out mudding with buddies. We had a lot to talk about. He's a good guy. Tow bill, $2,400. Over my limit. So, yeah, so that truck, the 2 times that well, it's the truck I'm driving right now. This truck, the last 2 times I drove it, has cost the company $4,500, and they still have me in it. I'm like, you guys really need to. Everybody else drives it just fine. I don't know what you're doing different. I'm like, dude, just don't fucking put me in that truck, dude. Anytime you have a job and it requires somebody to drive this truck, give it to somebody else and let them do it. Because if they can do it and they don't have issues, it's a lot better. Because I feel like even though it has nothing to do with me at all, it feels like, I'm going to be looked at because what I'm doing is causing the company to pay money. So just stop fucking putting me in this truck, man. Unless it's local. But it even did fuck up with me local once. It must be break time. Everybody's just fucking scattering around here. I made it to where I need to be. I just got to get up on top of the hill, dump this container off, have a guy sign for me, and then turn around and go back to the shop. I'm going to grab the trash truck and come back to the same place and haul their trash trailer. And that's going to be an interesting time, because I don't know, maybe the landfill, since they have such a steep hill and shit, they probably run their road scrapers and shit, and the hill should be all right. But I'm freezing up. My windows are freezing up on the inside right now. Get some heat going. There we go. What a wonderful day. Yeah, the wife was like, I'm going to DoorDash today. And I said, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. Because the kids have not been to school today will be, I think, 12 days. 12 consecutive days they have not been at school. My wife was bringing it up the other day. She's like, what if I had a job? I'm like, you're right. That would really suck. How in the fuck is our schools doing this? Other people have jobs that they have to go to, and they can't, who the fuck is going to watch all these kids while they go to work? And, works are like, okay, well, your kids are out of school, but, there's still work that needs to be done. You can't just have 11 days off of work, So this is a rough time right now. I'm telling you, it's not good. Luckily for me, my wife doesn't have a job. But for everybody else, I feel horrible for them. All right, I don't know where they expect me to drop this container because there's shit everywhere. There is shit fucking everywhere. Oh man. I'm gonna have to pause this and figure out something. All right, we're back. Yeah, easy peasy. I had to move a tote, but nothing crazy. It was an empty tote. It looked like it had the stain on it, so I thought it was like full. I was like, fuck, I ain't gonna be able to move that fucking tote because there's a spot next to the other dumpster that I was like, oh, I'll just put it there. And then, anyways, I got the dumpster dropped off. Am I all the way down? All right, just bouncing, man, bouncing. Um, and then they wanted me to move another dumpster, which is fine. I thought they were saying, oh, take the other dumpster across over into um, Hannibal. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to make a phone call real quick, bud. I'm like, I can't. I don't know, man. I don't know. He's like, no, just move it down to the other area. I was like, oh, okay. So I moved it down to the other area for him. Easy peasy. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm gonna bill them for all this. I know I don't. I ain't gonna be billing them. I'll bill them all the way up until I broke down yesterday. Then after that, it's on us, and then I'll be billing them for everything today, which is gonna be. They're making out like a bandit on that because it was gonna be another like 3 or 4 hours probably of work yesterday, and yeah, there's some sort of vibration going on with this truck, man. I don't know what is going on. It's vibrating like crazy, though. I thought it was only when I was on the throttle, so I was like, maybe I'm just feeling something different. But now it's whenever I'm off the throttle, it's still doing it. Oh, fuck me. Now I gotta wait on all these trucks. Oh, man. Payday today. Gonna be pretty happy about that. Pretty happy about payday. Not gonna lie. Um, there's not enough. I mean, we've already spent any of the extra money that we had, so um, so we're still gonna be a little tight, even though this paycheck is gonna be it's gonna be bigger than normal because it's gonna have per diem and a lot of overtime on it. So it's gonna be a decent check, but we had to dip into some of our other money for right now because I needed fuel last night. I was like, hey, I need fuel. She's like, I do too. I'm like, fuck. So I was just going to drive her car. And then I ran out of chew. I had to buy a can of chew yesterday. I talked about that. They fucking tried to give me chew that expired in fucking January 12th. I'm like, that's over a month expired. And these things come out and they don't expire for like 4 months when you buy them, when they're fresh. Anyways, I think I'm going to go ahead and let this section go, and I'll be back later. Okay, so I'm back pretty soon. I pulled over. I called the mechanic. I said, man, I got a horrible vibration. He's like, pull over. So I made it down the road just a little bit, pulled in behind a Dollar Tree here, and he's like, hey, video call me. Let me see that because we just don't. There's not a lot of trust in this new mechanic we got here. And yeah, none of the. I think he got the bolts tight, but the drive shaft is not centered. So yeah, now I get to sit here and wait for a guy to show up and repair my truck. This is wonderful. I'm just glad I knew. I was like, there's something not right. I was like, he said it's tight, and I want to take him at, he said it's tight, it's good, it's tight, it's in there, it's good. No, not at all. That thing is fucking not on the right way at all. So now I get to sit here for a while. I just wanted to give that little tidbit of information. Now I'm going to play my fucking game or something until they get here. And we're off. We got fixed. Had our mechanic meet me over here behind the old Dollar General. And so on a U-joint, there's caps that hold. It's got 4 caps, and it's got 4. Some of them are press-in, some of them are bolt-on, and this is a bolt-on one. And the little clip that holds the U-joints in, on one side it's got a little tab that comes down to hold the U-joint centered and hold the cap on. It's not, I don't know if I'm explaining it very well, but the little piece has to go on a certain way, and the dude just got underneath there and screwed them on. That he put both. Well, he put one on backwards. I think he put both of them on backwards. So he said he got the bolts tight, but they weren't. They were tight, but they were wrong, and it's got that little ledge there, and that's to make sure the U-joint is centered, so your drive shaft is balanced, And no, none of that was done. It looks fucking horrible. I didn't get a picture of it, but I did take a video and show the mechanic. It was bad, and then so he showed up, and he's like, God damn, we're gonna have to put a new you're good to go to the shop. Don't haul anything with it, but you're good to go to the shop, and they're gonna put a new U-joint on it because I think, well, he torqued them. Well, he didn't torque them down, but he impacted them down, and I think that put stress on the cap because the cap has those little pin bearings in it, like little rods, and they go all the way around it. And yeah, I think he either bent the cap or cracked the cap. I'm not sure. I didn't get underneath there with the mechanic, but he's over there. He's just cussing him. He's like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" He's like, "I'm not mad at you." I'm like, I fucking hope not. I didn't do shit wrong. The only thing I could have done would have been to check his work, but you're the big mechanic. You got to check his work. So now we know for sure. You gotta really check on this guy. You can't just let him go. Especially with little shit like this. It's like, I don't know. He was a military mechanic, and I don't know if maybe it was a little bit different in the military, and they had, I don't know, do they have explicit instructions for? Because they only use a certain amount of fucking things, and they might have explicit instructions on how to do every single job that they do when repairing vehicles. And I wonder if now he doesn't have the little piece of paper or whatever it is showing him exactly the steps on putting a drive shaft back on, but it's like, you shouldn't need that, dude. You shouldn't, I don't know. he's getting paid as a mechanic, and if he can't put a drive shaft back on, it took him 40 minutes. And I'm being gracious there. I think it was closer to an hour, but I'm going to go ahead and just say 40 minutes to put a drive shaft back on when you have everything right there. Like, and I thought about explaining to him to put one bolt in with the cap, put one bolt in, set the drive shaft up there, and then put the other side in. You know, you can swing the deal over. Because I thought the drive shaft was going to bust him in the face because he just had it set up there, you know, in the drive shaft telescopes that goes in and out. Man, I don't know. It's not my department. So, but I really don't think he's going to last too much longer. I don't think they're going to let him get to his 90 days, which is unfortunate. I wish he was a good mechanic. But whenever you can't even put a drive shaft on, man. And yet, you know, you can just look at it and tell it's not right. But whatever. And not my department. The mechanic, he did take a bunch of pictures. He's like, I'm going to take a bunch of pictures so I can take it to him and show him how to do it the right way. I'm like, I don't know why you would even bother. I didn't say that to him. I said, oh, okay, yeah. But in my honest thoughts, I'm just like, why bother? Just fucking go to the boss and say, hey, you hired the wrong guy, get him out of here. Because if we wanted to hire a skilled mechanic, and if you're going to have to teach this guy how to do every single fucking thing, that's not a skilled mechanic. That's not what you're wanting. You wanted, because we made out like bandits with one of our mechanics, one of our newer mechanics. Well, the newest mechanic that we have right now, not other than this guy. He's the guy that he'll rebuild a transmission and engine back in his bay. He's got his own area. He's got 3 walls full of tools, and they're all his tools. This guy showed up. I know he came from the Army. I think he just got out. He doesn't have any tools, which is, all right, yeah, we'll give you a little bit of time to get some tools or whatever. You know, you just got out of the military, but I'm pretty sure that's a part of the deal is mechanics are supposed to have tools, and he's working out of the community toolbox. And I'm just like, he's like, yeah, I need to get a 3/8 ratchet. You don't have a 3/8 ratchet? How do you not have a ratchet? Like, I don't know. Maybe I could make some money off of this guy. I can sell him some of my tools. I got a whole toolbox full of extra sockets and shit because I went through the entire toolbox and I got singles, doubles, and triples of some, and I still have a shitload left over because I inherited tools from. I just had tools. My dad, after my dad passed, I got a bunch of tools, and then my wife's grandpa passed, and I got all those tools because nobody else. My father-in-law, he runs a shop. Like he's got every fucking tool known to man. So he's like, no, I don't need any extra tools. So I got all of them, and I just have a bunch of stuff. But Grandpa, he would, I don't know, he had some really nice tools, but some of it is like, I don't know, he's got this screwdriver set, and I don't know if it's just old or what it was from the Sears catalog, I don't know. But it's like, instead of having little bits and stuff, you have to have a special screwdriver handle, and it's got all these things that clip into it, and that's like what he used. He did have a bunch of regular screwdrivers, obviously, but it looked like, I don't know. I got all this crazy tool set stuff, and I'm just like, I'm holding on to it. I've got it in rotation. I've got it in my drawers, but I just don't see myself ever using that style of screwdriver when everything else I have is 1/4 inch, 3/8, you know, or just regular old 6-sided bits. But I don't know. I just can't believe they hired a mechanic. I know he probably looked great on paper. They hired him, no tools, and now we know not a lot of knowledge. Not a lot of knowledge. So I used to work on Humvees. Like, okay, these aren't Humvees. And he was dissing our engines too. He's like, everything you have is Cummins. Everything in the military is Caterpillar. Like, all right. He's like, Caterpillar sound. This is a real conversation he had with me just earlier today. Caterpillar engines have so much torque. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, they have more torque than any other engine out there. I said, all right. I mean, and I don't know. I have no. He's like, have you ever driven a Cat engine? I was like, I don't think so. Most of our shit's Cummins. He's like, a Caterpillar engine will haul 200,000 pounds up a hill, and it'll do it with no problem. I said, all right. I'm like, I don't. There's more that goes into it than just the fucking engine, right? You know, the engine isn't the thing, really. You know, that's axles, hubs, gearing, transmission. You know, there's a lot more that goes into, you know, being able to pull shit up a hill. I mean, the engine having power, yeah, that's great. Yeah, and the engines do have horsepower and torque, yeah, but I mean, I think you're a Caterpillar fanboy, and we don't have any Caterpillars here, so I'm sorry, but and then he was trying to explain something else to me about, I don't know, the Humvees and the switches for all the lights and stuff, because Humvees don't have a computer or something. I don't know. And then that's about the time that he grabbed the parts for the drive shaft and hopped underneath the truck. I'm like, oh no. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, yeah, it would have been really easy for me to just look through to the other side to see that the fucking drive shaft was not connected properly. So, I don't know. It's a mistake, you know. I don't know how many strikes he's going to get, but I would say this is probably strike one, you know. Luckily, it didn't involve much damage other than maybe a U-joint. And those need to be replaced anyways, so alright. Damage to U-joint. Luckily, the drive shaft didn't fly the fuck out driving with a hazardous waste loaded box on a job, you know. Luckily, that didn't happen. Part of me is just kind of glad I was not involved with this at all, other than me driving. It's a truck I had to use. And part of me, I don't want to talk too much shit on him, even though I already have. But talking so much shit on him, I feel like it's bad karma. Something bad's gonna happen to me. But yeah, I'm just talking about what happened, man. Guy's a grade A mechanic. Now we're just gonna have to double check all of his work. He did check my oil this morning, and he said it's a little low. So I was like, okay, I'll add some oil. I'll add some oil. But yeah, I guess I'll bring up the only other interaction I had with him was I had got there early in the morning. He had showed up, and then I fired up my dump truck inside the shop. There, we had two dump trucks in there, and I was waiting on another guy to get there. And the dump truck that I have, it has a little bit of an air leak. Not bad, but you got to build up. It doesn't hold the air after the thing's been off, so you gotta let it sit there and idle for a while. And he came up to me and he's like, "Hey, you can't have your truck idling in the shop. This is his first day, so you can't have your truck idling in the shop." I was like, "What?" He's like, "The fumes are gonna start getting to us. You need to have that. You have to warm it up outside." I said, "I'm not warming it up." And he's like, "Oh, well, what do you?" I was like, "I can't move it until it has air." So, I mean, it is warming up, but I'm really just trying to get air in the system. It's been parked inside. Don't really need to warm it up. I just need it to fucking build up enough air so I can release the fucking brakes and drive it down the fucking highway. Okay, well, you need to open the door. I'm like, "I'm not opening the door. It is 2 degrees outside." I'm like, the fumes are not going to get to you that bad, bud. It's a big ass shop. Okay? Oh, man. Anyways, I'm going to go haul trash, and I think I'm going to talk to you about the other stuff later, because I think I'm going to go ahead and end this podcast. Adios! Keep all 18 down. Talk to you later.